Where are you? Oh, there you go. I'm President of Column for YouTube, Joel Slates. Joined by my buddy Mark Gillman. We're here to discuss some Halloween, some Nightmare on Elm Street, a bit of both. So here's a question for you, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
So Jackie Earle Haley played Freddy Krueger. We both liked his portrayal, his performance for the most part. So
Mm-hmm.
what do you think of his versus sort of Taylor Maine's Michael Myers?
I thought I thought Maine was really good as Michael. He was, I mean, especially for the way that Rob wanted him to be. I mean, he was definitely just a monster in every way. To me, I prefer Michael being like I guess, a skinnier guy because I think that makes him more threatening. Is because he doesn't rely on physical strength. He goes from the evil within, and it makes him do all these incredible things. But I mean, at times, I mean, I can't deny that I didn't get some satisfaction out of watching Maine as Michael Myers. I mean, he was, oh gosh, he was brutal.
When he killed the Strodes, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
So,
well, I wonder if anybody. I told my brother, I was like, I wonder if anybody had money on the Strodes label. We should have cashed in on that. Uh, but it's like somebody we knew had to. It's like no.
yeah.
But
Mhm,
I really like how when they did the shots of young Michael,
mhm,
and you could sort of see Taylor Maine a bit in young Michael. You could
mhm,
see when you see Taylor Maine's Michael older, you could see the boy too a
mhm,
bit, and I think that stands out. I think that's
mhm,
what Rob was. I believe Rob even said that's what he was going for, and it makes
mhm.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like I like the fact that they cast an actor who, prior played Sabretooth in the first X-Men movie.
mhm.
Um,
Awesome movie.
yeah, right? It's like,
Mhm,
and by the way, Taylor Moon was a former pro wrestler, so it helps that he's
mhm,
gonna do the physical work too. You don't
mhm.
necessarily need a stunt man with a former pro wrestler. Um,
Right.
and it's really cool that they got the fact that they had all these little physical works, him punching somebody, him just taking a freaking beam and going up, trying to get Lori. It's like Jesus Christ! Like there's a lot of destruction in Rob's Halloween, and
Mhm.
and even with Little Michael too. It's like with Doug, I forget the boy's name, the young man, but he he did a good job with both their energies. Like both their
Yeah.
energies matched, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Oh, absolutely. You could see him growing into the beast that he turned into.
Yeah, it's like Matt. It's like Jesus. That was myself.
Mhm.
What about Jackie or Haley's Freddy Krueger? You think he'll just get more love?
I hope so. I hate that a lot of people can't seem to separate the film from the actor, and, I think, it's been 13 years, so I think, uh, I think a lot more people are appreciating it, um, but, uh, I just really hope that, as time goes on because, I mean, there hasn't been a new Nightmare on Elm Street since then, so, it's kind of at a point now where it's almost skipped a generation. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that something will come along in the works and create some buzz and say, hey, um, there was this movie by Platinum Dunes. It may not have been the best movie, but this guy was awesome. Kind of like how I see Helen Slater as Supergirl. The movie was terrible, but I thought she was great in the role and was a good fit.
So that's the thing too. Like with Helen Slater, honestly, I think the '80s was just a bad time for a Supergirl movie. It's
Yeah, yeah.
like it's I'll give you this. Remember when the Phantom came out in the 90s?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in the 80s, because the original Superman came out in 78.
Mm-hmm.
And Superman 2 was, I mean, there's no topping that. When you do General Zod for Superman 2, because what's everybody tried to do after Superman 2? General Zod over again.
Yeah.
Man of Steel. With Supergirl in the 80s, being in the 80s, there was too many action movies going on in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, even the Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing is horror action. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
horror, but it's horror action.
Mm-hmm.
Because Carpenter saw what was going on. like
Mm-hmm.
like he saw yeah, we can't just make this scary. Yeah, we can make it scary, but we need to have action.
Mm-hmm.
Then he made fun of the action genre by doing Escape from Los Angeles, which is a fun movie.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. Like he was always ahead of it. Like when he did Escape from Los Angeles, he sort of did this first parody of action
Mm-hmm.
with Snake Plissken of all people, but he made it look
Yeah.
good. And that's the thing. Like was if when the Phantom when the Phantom came out, what was it up against? Mission Impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Phantom's a good superhero movie, but Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise was huge.
Yeah, it was.
And that's the thing. Like the 80s and 90s, like the 90s was gritty,
Mm-hmm.
80s was full of action. Because the 90s, you could go Mission Impossible, Crow, Terminator 2. It's like
Mm-hmm.
when you talk about horror in the 90s or even superhero movies in the 90s, it's like horror more gets the nod because Wes Craven said, you know what, the hell with you all, I'm going to do Scream.
Yeah.
And he was right for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, thank you, Wes Craven, for resurrecting horror in the 90s. Even though
Yeah.
what's weird about that is, I want to get your thoughts too, because like the television movie and it was a
Mm-hmm.
television movie,
Mm-hmm.
like mini series. They remade it into a movie because Hollywood realized they effed up in the 90s and not making it in the movie. And I really think the mini series still stands out.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
what are
I
your
agree, and I think that they're two very different movies, and I think didn't Tommy Lee Wallace direct the TV movie?
yeah, he did.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
So I mean, and he's amazing. And Yeah, I think that they're two very different things, and I like both. Um, and the um, I think the 2017 movie, uh, definitely the first chapter, they're able to do a lot more with effects and different things, and the look of Pennywise the clown and Bill Skarsgård was amazing. But there's just something about Tim Curry as Pennywise that is just timeless. Like Christopher Reeve as, we talked about Superman, like Christopher Reeve as Superman. I mean, here it is. It's been, 45 years later. And to a lot of people, I mean, he's still the face of Superman. And I think to a lot of people, Tim Curry is still Pennywise.
yeah, that's the thing too. Like with Superman, like I had no idea about George Reeves
Hmm.
until my grandfather brought it up to me and my brother
Hmm.
about, there was a Superman show in black and white. Like, what? Grandpa, you're crazy. Like, no,
Hmm.
he's not.
Hmm.
It's like, then we saw it. And it's like, okay, so there was a Superman before Christopher Reeves.
Hmm.
And they did a good job with the multiverse showing George Reeves and all of them and stuff.
Hmm.
I think that's the thing. Like, Christopher Reeves left really big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
And, you know, the problem isn't necessarily finding the next Christopher Reeves. It's finding someone who understands that, okay, you're playing a character, yes, called Superman, but he's called the Man of Steel for a reason. He knows how to catch Lois Lane.
Hmm.
Like, not, but he also knows when to get angry and when not to.
Hmm.
When to, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, the best emotion, like, I didn't know about, like, I did not read every Superman before I watched 1970.
Hmm.
And when I watched 1978 Superman, I saw, Lois Lane died and Superman got mad. He spun the world around.
Hmm.
And he goes, and my mom's friend, Dave, and I learned more about comics through him than I did anyone else. And he said, well, it's better that what he did there than what he did when Joker killed Lois Lane. It's like, what? What did you just say? He goes,
I
well,
didn't know about this.
when Joker had a Scarecrow inject fear toxin with Superman, they laced it with kryptonite and stuff, and he mistook Lois Lane for
Oh.
Doomsday, and Superman flies Doomsday up into like the atmosphere, and this
Oh
kills Lois
no.
Lane. Essentially, Joker causes this, and this is what
Yeah.
caused. In the alternate reality that they're the dark universe that they're showing is that's what causes Superman to turn bad.
Hmm.
Joker, Superman punches a hole through Joker's chest, ripping out his heart. So
Wow.
I'm like, so I was asking him about it. He was telling me, and I was like, yeah, that is better. Oh, fuck.
Wow.
Dave Shoryer's the type of guy when he breaks news to you,
Mhm.
it's straight up. It's like he doesn't like it doesn't matter how old because I was a kid and then I was like,
Mhm.
what you say?
Mhm.
Like
He Mortal Kombat's him. That's awesome.
he does. It's like, yeah, it's like Jesus Christ. It's like, oh my God. It's something that Freddy Krueger would have done or something. It's like, my
Mhm.
God. I think with Jack Girl's Freddy Krueger, sorry, I got off topic.
No, no, it's okay.
I like what he did
Mhm.
because we've talked about this. He didn't write the script.
Right.
It's like I don't understand why people look at a movie and go, "Well, it's the actor's fault." No, the actor didn't.
No, it's not.
Like, look, I love Godfather 1 and 2,
Mhm.
but Godfather 3 is shit. I mean,
I haven't watched that one, but I've heard a lot of people say that.
like Al Pacino is a great actor. Al
Mhm.
Pacino did not write Godfather 3. Well, here's the thing: the last time a Godfather movie got done was way before. When you're setting a Godfather movie in the '90s, it really felt dated.
Yeah.
And especially what was going on in the '90s, it's basically like planting the Phantom in the night, making a Phantom movie in the '90s. It's like, why are you're basically hurting the franchise by doing this?
Mhm.
And the script was just, it's not that the script is totally bad. It has good quality in a sense. There's good acting, but there's a lot of real, it gives a false perception. It gives a perception that Al Pacino's Michael Corleone is out of the mob.
Mhm.
No, he's not.
No.
The line he says, when I thought I was out, they pulled me back. And I'm thinking to myself, when the fuck have you been out? It's like
Yeah.
when you watch, here's the thing. That's the thing. It's like who's ever writing the dialogue is writing
Mhm.
foolish dialogue.
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to fool the audience that Michael Corleone is out of the mob, the only person you're fooling is yourself.
Yeah.
That's where the movie's
Mhm.
bad. in
Right.
a sense. It's like they're trying to deceive the audience, but you're not deceiving anyone.
Hmm.
Michael Corleone watches, I forget the actor's name, who was in Untouchables, who was in Godfather Part 3. I'm going to kick myself because he's a really good actor, but, oh God, I can see his face too, but he was in that movie too. He was in both movies. And he bites the guy's ears off, a guy's ear off in front of Michael Corleone. If you're out of the mob, you're not witnessing a guy's ear be bit
No,
off.
you're not going to witness this stuff happening.
Right. And here's the thing: they come to him because they call him the Godfather. They come to him. It's like,
Mhm.
I'm thinking, wait a second, bro. Like, I want to pull Pacino aside and say, bro, how is your character out of the mob? He's
Mhm.
not. Like, this whole movie,
No.
he hasn't been. It's like, who are you? Who are the writers trying to deceive here other than
Mhm.
themselves?
Yeah.
It's so. Here's what I'll say. That's what makes Godfather 3 so. I'd say more annoying than bad. I
Hmm.
shouldn't say it's complete shit. It's more annoying because it's like, why are the writers lying to themselves?
Hmm.
When
Yeah,
you see
I
it,
can understand.
you'll see what I'm saying. It's just like,
Mhm.
wait, you're not out of the mob, bro.
Right.
That's like Michael Myers going to an AA meeting, like, yeah, I've given up killing. Oh,
Mhm.
I,
Exactly.
it's, who are you kidding? That's what that
Or in
movie.
your case, Michael Myers going to church. Yeah, yeah.
Right. It's like, who are you kidding here?
Right.
Like, and that's what makes Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake, with what the writers did, so frustrating. When
Mhm.
you try to say that Freddy Krueger, no matter who plays him, could potentially be innocent when he's already murdered somebody, it's like, first of all, no one's going to care because you've already had him kill somebody.
Mhm.
It's funny because I've talked about this with Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. Okay, if you're making the main character in that movie, the young man, he's interesting character. It's not the S&M
Mhm.
I mind.
Right.
It's okay. If you're making him the next Freddy Krueger, you have to have a line where he either is and he kills somebody,
Mhm.
or B, he fights the hell out of doing the deed.
Mhm.
Now, he does fight it, but there is a point where he does kill somebody as Freddy.
Mhm.
He's Freddy and he's killing. It's like, okay, no matter what, now you can't get him back for me because he's a killer.
Yeah.
Like, and like, the girl in the movie is very, don't get me wrong, very beautiful girl.
Mhm.
But it's like, bro, I don't give a shit if she's the Virgin Mary herself.
Mhm.
He's a killer now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. You
it's
can't love that away. You can't
right.
like true
It's
love and erase that. No.
right, and it's just, it's like, okay, with Jack Earl's, Freddy. Once you're trying to say, well, he may have not did it. Even if he didn't, he's already killed a teenager. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter.
Right.
He's a killer now.
Mhm.
It's like your whole plot device is done.
Mhm.
If he's just scaring them out of their sleep, which he could have did,
Mhm.
Jackie Earl was that convincing too
Mhm.
that he could have pulled that off. They don't do that. It's not Jackie Earl's fault that the writers are sending a big mixed signal.
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, he's playing the character right. You
Yeah.
know,
Absolutely. He was doing an all-star job of
yeah,
playing Freddy Krueger, and he wasn't copying Robert at all. He was
no,
doing his own thing, and he was very unsettling and terrifying. And um, the problem with that movie is, every writer, when they put a project down, they're asking you to suspend your disbelief a little bit.
yeah,
They asked way too much. The writers asked way too much, in that movie, and that's what really hurt it. But I mean, Jackie Earl Haley was an amazing Freddy Krueger.
We're gonna say mass hypnosis.
Yeah, yeah, that was oh, that to me that and the whole point of I mean, I know that they always hinted in Wes Craven that that was something that he was going to do, but making him guilty of being a child molester and then like the whole mass hypnosis thing, I think that was really the two biggest crimes of the remake. That was just asking too much of the audience.
Here's the thing, too. They had in the movie a way of getting away with it,
Hmm.
but they only use it for one character. The boy who was the swimmer, I believe he was taking Hypnocell.
Hmm.
And if everybody who was, molested by Freddy was taking Hypnocell, then you could have got away with that.
Hmm.
You could have got away with not only did we hypnotize them, but they've been on a pill that helps
Hmm.
them suppress it. That would have made a lot more sense if
Yeah,
everybody's taking the same pill. The problem is only one kid's taking it.
yeah.
It's like, guys, you realize you have this many other characters.
Yeah, and I mean, kids that are, 6, 7, 8 years old have got a very fresh memory of things that happened to them, especially something that traumatic that supposedly happened multiple times. And yeah, that was just a really big blunder on their part.
It's like asking Ben Tramer if he when he got hit by that car, hey, are you okay?
Poor Ben.
I love your response about who might like John Tate's dad having the beer can.
Oh yeah. California.
Jesus Christ! Oh my
Yeah.
God! What did you? By the way, speaking of Michael Myers, what did I really enjoyed? God, I'm gonna kick myself. Jim Shoot Courtney's Michael. He did a good
Yes.
job. He
Yes,
really,
he did.
he really did a good job. I'll say this: if they were gonna go all the way with Corey,
Hmm.
and again, there's you could take it if they wanted to or not. I
Hmm.
would have just had, and I would have just had Corey kill Michael.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if he's, I'm more of a guy who I prefer your heel to not pull back.
Hmm.
Like I get he stabs himself in the neck. That is shocking.
Hmm.
But the evil's basically leaving his body. He's
Right.
he's tapping pretty
Hmm.
much. Um, by the way, when we get down here, we're gonna hold a moment of silence for somebody. But,
Okay.
but
Mhm.
he stabs himself in the neck,
Mhm.
and I'm thinking, what a fine time to do that because here comes James Shoot Courtney. They just finishes the job.
Mhm.
I'm more prefer a heel go all the way. Like
Mhm.
if they would have pulled, it's the same issue I have with again part two of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mhm.
Don't if you really want this new heel to succeed, don't pull back. Embrace your heel because great antagonist. Just because you already have one antagonist doesn't mean you can't have the other.
Mhm.
You could have evil. If evil's taken a new shape, then let it.
Mhm.
Let it do it because the one thing I liked about Rohan Campbell, he did do a great job of carrying the movie,
Mhm.
is he lies about it. And that's Jonathan Fritz said it himself. Well, Barnabas is a liar,
Mhm.
and that's evil. And I
Yeah.
agree. It's really him lying about the murders is one of the worst parts.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I agree. I agree completely. And I thought that, Corey's the line he said before he did that that just really shocked me was when he was talking about Allison and he heard her uh, coming up the stairs and that she was home. He said, "If I can't have her, then no one will." Then he, offs himself
Yeah,
and probably thinking that Lori was going to pick up the knife, and here comes Allison, thinking that Lori finally snapped and she killed him.
yeah,
And I mean, I thought that was pretty, uh, a pretty savage way of getting revenge
yeah.
and everything. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying, though. I mean, like to have them go all the way and not be redeemable. They pass a certain point where they can't go back.
Yeah, and I don't mind that at all.
Hmm.
And if you do that and have him kill Michael and have him continue the lie in a way
Hmm.
where he's not overdoing it, it makes it all the more sinister. Because here's
Hmm.
Michael. Michael didn't talk. We all know this. But to have a killer who can now, and that's the biggest difference too, and just flat out and go, no, I was here all night, is cold blooded as shit.
Yeah.
And I would have, that's something I would have loved to have seen where they're just, oh, I was here on. And here's the thing too, he could have got away with this where he made it look like an accident. and, then,
Hmm.
and then he's with Alice. Alice was like, no, there's no way he could have left, not thinking he did.
Hmm.
You know, it's like, oh shit. Like, what
But
did you?
yeah, it's just that would have been good to, I guess, for him to be able to kill Corey. But I don't know. I guess I feel like Corey felt like he needed him in a way
Mm,
too. But there was just uh there. I know a lot of people panned that one, but I mean, me personally, I really enjoyed it, and each time I watch it, I get a little something new and learn a little something new. Um, but yeah, I think the part of Corey being a liar like that is very, and he's such a manipulator. He
yeah,
takes something like that he and Allison had in common that they were both bullied, for things that they didn't do. And they both had resentment against their family. Corey was abused at home by his mother,
yeah.
um, physically, and I'll just go ahead and say it. I mean, he was abused sexually by his mother. She
Mm,
was coming on to him, and Allison had resentment, I think, towards Lori that she had to, watch her and she couldn't leave and live her own life.
mm.
And I think Corey was someone that preyed upon a weakness like that and just really used that to control somebody. And that's just a whole new kind of evil.
Yeah, he. I, if I could have told Court, listen, I have ways for you to kill your mother, son. Uh,
Well, he
you
was
can,
successful with some of the other people that, he experimented on.
yeah,
So yeah, he was
like,
something.
like I could show you how to get rid of your mother accidentally. It's okay. Uh,
Mhm.
nobody will miss her. Uh,
Take her to that sewer pipe where Michael is.
yeah, right. Right. Like, hey, you want my body? Follow me.
Yeah, exactly.
She probably would have too.
Oh, I'm sure she would have.
Oh shit! Oh my god! Well, here's the
And if
thing.
you've ever watched Breaking Bad, he worked in a junkyard, so I'm sure that they could have disposed of bodies by, those crushers that get rid of cars and stuff too. So
See, Walter White would have been like, "Oh, so your mother's coming on to you? Listen, a bullet to the head will solve a lot of problems."
Yeah, exactly.
Like, for God, that's the thing too. Like like with eh, evil characters when they're created, they're created in such an interesting way.
Mhm,
But then when you see how when they come along, it's like, well, I wish they would have did this because
mhm,
that would have been cooler than that. But
mhm.
I'll say this: like with James Jude Courtney's Michael for the first two movies and the third one, I think he did a really good job.
Oh,
He did,
yeah.
the stalking was good. I
Mhm,
think that how he did the movements was perfect.
mhm.
I think it's
I
going
do
to
too.
be interesting to see when they cast because they're not going to go tap him again.
Mhm.
You know, usually not, but
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
no, I wouldn't mind if they did. Um,
Mhm,
but if they do, I think it's going to be interesting to find somebody as hard pressed to do it all over again.
mhm.
You know,
Yeah,
where,
and
where,
I think, Tyler wasn't much of a stalker, but dear God, he was a force.
yeah, that's the thing with Tyler Maines. Like his his Frankenstein like size makes him
Mhm,
such. It's literally the immovable force.
mhm.
But when he moves, Jesus Christ,
Yeah,
you don't want him to. It's sort of like Negan when Negan stops talking, you don't want him to stop.
no.
And with the way he destroys the Strodes, the way he just tears apart that guy inside the gas station bathroom,
Mhm,
it's like my God, Taylor Maine really. If you know if they were trying, Rob was trying to bring out the monster in Michael, that Michael's a monster. Taylor Maine was the perfect fit for him.
yes, I agree.
You know, in every way because Taylor Maine embodied that.
Mhm.
Like, just he's so not just in size, yes, but in just brutality.
Oh, yeah, and I think one of the most brutal kills is in Halloween 2 when he, goes after Octavia Spencer, the nurse,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, I mean, he just completely guts her, and, she's down on the ground, and, she's barely got any life left in her after what he's already done to her, and you just see him go full swing, like, up as high as his arm can go, and just, like, thrusting with, like, so much force even after she's dead. He just, keeps going, and then he stops and, like, he just stares a minute, and then he just does it again, and it's just he like I said, he what he lacks in stalking, he makes up for, like you said, in brutality.
It's weird when they did the trailer for part two.
Mhm,
I thought they were going to do Michael's dad, but I'm glad they didn't.
mhm.
And it was just Taylor Maine coming back as Michael Myers. At first, I thought was when they were going through the movie, I thought that Lori was the killer because I thought, well, is Michael really there? And yeah, he is.
Mhm.
Taylor Maid's really there. I really love the death of Annie Brackett, played by Daniel Harris. How they did
Yeah,
that was really. I love how Rob's a great cinematographer. For
mhm.
his storytelling isn't the best, but what
Right.
he lacks there, he shoots the camera very well.
Yeah, that was a really emotional death too, with all
Yeah.
the flashbacks and everything. That was a good one.
I like how he just like comes up and kills the. Who leaves one cop outside their house? Like seriously, it's like one cop. Has no one learned anything in horror?
No, absolutely not.
It's like if you said Ralph outside, you know he's gonna. Yeah, you go out there. You go out there.
Yeah,
That's gonna
yeah.
be. It's like no, no, no. Somebody else could go out there. Anybody else can go out there. And it's like when the cop gets killed, I'm thinking, okay, that was quick. And then the way and the reason you see why is how they do Annie's death is because they do it so methodically.
Mhm.
And it's the most methodical death in both Halloweens.
Mhm. I agree.
And it's really, I think Rob gives Danielle Harris a better send off than what the original series did, in a weird way.
I think so too.
You know, I know she's not playing the same character,
Mhm.
but really, really smartly done to not show it right away.
Mhm.
If you just hear the screaming, it's like, oh my God, what's going on? And then when you see it, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think another good kill that was, I mean, to me, I thought was kind of an emotional moment was when Michael was in this. I started to say Windcliff. Oh my gosh, when he was in the sanitarium, and Danny Trejo was one of his, one of the guys there that worked, and he was always good to Michael, and there was just no attachment there, and he got a brutal death, like with a fish tank and then a TV squashed to the head. So that was something brutal too. I mean and I think that speaks, because Rob makes a lot of very grindhouse type movies, and but I thought that was kind of you know, like a deep emotional moment that Michael had such a disconnect that he had been there for 15 years and this guy was good to him, always gave him Halloween masks and took care of Michael and always had his back.
Have you
And
seen
then
his? Oh, sorry. Have you seen
no, no,
his?
no, no.
Have you seen his monsters? The monsters.
I don't remember. I
The
don't think so.
the monsters. Sorry.
Oh, The Munsters.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's the only Rob Zombie movie that I loved. I thought he was great. I thought he did great in that one.
What happened to your face? Fucking smart. I was telling this to Patrick. I said I really think Rob's The Monsters was meant for a live studio audience
Mhm.
because all the jokes feel like they're aimed toward an audience.
Mhm.
And like every little thing they're doing, like from the slapstick humor to like the verbal jabs, it's so.
Mhm.
And then when you see the dead people, like the people coming in the cemetery, you know they're gonna dig up a corpse. It's like, oh
Mhm.
Jesus Christ, bro, don't do
Yep.
it. Don't
Yep.
do it.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved his version of the Munsters. I thought that was great.
It was funny. It was. I like
Mhm.
Grandpa. Grandpa was really good too.
Yes, he was. I think his name is Daniel Roebuck. He
Yeah,
sounded just like Al Lewis.
yeah.
He was good, and I loved. I think his name is Jorge Garcia, the Igor type guy that was Hurley and Lost, and he was the one that named Herman. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was good, and named him after like Munster cheese. So that was that was good.
And I gotta give you know, mess up her name, but Rob's wife really did a great
Oh,
job.
Sherry Moon as
Yeah,
Lily. Yeah, she was good.
yeah. I mean, she really fit that character.
Hmm.
You know, with I got. Did I ever tell you my theory with Laurie Strode and Resurrection?
No, I don't think so.
If I haven't, I'm going to tell you now.
Okay.
I think, like, because producers will tell you shit. They'll lie to you.
Mhm.
Producers said, "Oh, Laurie Strode's dead. We've killed her." But when you watch Resurrection, if you go back and watch it, pay attention to post the sanitarium and what's going on in the house. Now, the movie is set in Haddonfield, the second half of the movie. because they're in the Myers house, even though it's a set. And it's funny because nobody, not one goddamn person, mentions the death of Laurie Strode inside the sanitarium.
True.
And here's the thing: it's only been a year later,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, well, wait a second, is she dead? Because this is Haddonfield, bro. She's for fuck's sake, she's from Haddonfield. Here's a woman who's the sister of Michael Myers, who faked her death, who now is supposedly dead, and a year later, nobody's talking about it. That's weird.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
Like they mentioned the car accident. They meant because there's a newspaper article in the basement that mentions the car accident that took her life, and it didn't. But they don't mention the sanitarium. They don't mention that she's dead. It's like, bro, this is the producers going, yeah, Jamie Lee want it written off, but we're not going to say shit.
Right.
We're going to leave that door open.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. Because somebody asked it, they're like, well, what's something in Resurrection that you find strange? And I said, well, the strangest thing is Laurie Strode. Not that she dies, mind you, but think of where the story is set, the next part. It's set in Haddonfield. Well, Laurie's from there. She babysitted there. She grew up there. She faked her death there. Then all of a sudden, when everyone finds out Laurie Strode's alive, Carrie Tate, then she dies in a sanitarium. A year later, in that town, not one soul is mentioning about her.
No.
And it's weird.
I agree. And I think, I guess a weird thing for me was, that Michael handed off his knife to the guy dressed up as Gacy. And I was kind of hoping, and the first time I watched the movie, I was thinking that, the one who was going to come home was going to be him.
Yeah.
And that he was going to go after everyone. But I guess I just kind of wondered. So Michael was like, he succeeded in killing his final family members. So what's he going to do now? So yeah, but I thought Resurrection had some really good ideas. I thought it. I love the thought of a reality TV show with the Michael's house, and I loved Freddie Harris. I really enjoyed Freddie a lot. And
if you
go
go
ahead.
back, when you go back and watch it, listen to what the security guard says to Michael when because he sees somebody standing in the laundromat. Harold, he calls him Harold. Michael. So the security guards think that Michael is Harold. He's handing Harold the knife because he's framing him for the cops' murder. Because when they check for fingerprints, whose fingerprints is going to be on Harold's?
Yeah.
It's like,
True.
Michael wasn't born yesterday. Like,
no.
You can have my knife. Of course, like the producers have said it's because Michael respects Harold. Okay, I could buy that, but Michael's not stupid either.
No.
He can hear.
He can hear just fine.
Yeah, he knows. I like how Harold knows all the facts about all the killers and shit. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, with the Cult of Thorn, I know you're sworn to secrecy, but I got to ask you this anyway. Do you think we'll ever see them again?
I'm not at liberty to say.
I appreciate
No. I honestly would like to. I would hope so. And if I'm not sure, and I'm hoping we'll find out a little bit more with the Halloween 45 celebration, and
Yeah.
after all the announcements and things, if they're going to, like do a series or something, I would really like to see something with them come up, because I thought that was such a good concept to come up with. And you just, we saw them, like a small group of them in Haddonfield. And I would think, how big does their influence go? That's something I would like to see explored a little bit more. How many of them exist outside of Haddonfield? Is that one chapter of many? Um, and I thought that was interesting when, and I can't remember her name, the crazy old lady that used to babysit Michael Myers, but where she was like, little Mikey heard the voices too.
Yeah.
And I would love to um, see a series with Danny grown up. Does he still hear the voices? Are they trying to come after him? Um, I would like to see something like that explored, and definitely a return of the Cult of Thorn.
That Mrs. Blankenship, she wouldn't hear a truck driver.
That's it. Yeah. That's right, Mrs. Blankenship. That's who it was. Thank you.
When I dream of like the Cold of Thorn, I dream of like this member who's smoking a cigarette and turning evidence over to the FBI, and they're
Mhm.
shaking like this, and they're like, "Well, why have you decided to turn on them now?" And she goes, "I have a killer stalking my fucking ass.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
he has killed every, and I mean everyone. You stupid. Okay." This woman is so stressed because she knows Michael's after her.
Hmm.
She knows what he did to all of them. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck this.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, when somebody asks me what happened to the Coal of Thorn, Michael Myers happened to the Coal of
Yeah.
Thorn.
Exactly.
What happened
Exactly.
to them? Oh my god.
Yeah. He turned them into worm food fast.
That's the thing too. It's like you gotta figure, like if there are members left, I'm sure there are. They gotta be going. Okay, you know the guy who we held as our god. Yeah, that's over with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's really pissed at us.
Yeah.
And it's like you gotta figure they had a big focus group meeting, like new objective, bro. New objective.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know how Plan A was. Yeah, that didn't go so well.
Yeah. Yeah. We're just wine and cheese parties from now on.
Hey, I heard there's this family in Collinsport. Let's go visit them.
Yes.
Fuck
Oh, can you
this.
imagine the Cult of Thorn in Collinsport?
Jesus Christ.
And somehow Nicholas Blair would rise up the ranks fast.
Like, hey, I have this new member. Here comes Humperdinck all straight. That would have been funny.
Yeah, that would have been epic.
It would have been
He would
too.
have been, move over, Burt Devlin. I'm taking over now.
Right? Right. It'd have been funny. Oh
Mhm.
shit. That's the thing too. It's like they're they're that when they gathered after what happened in '95,
Mhm.
they went, okay, this guy's doc, Dr. Wynn was an idiot. Okay.
Mhm.
Plan A sucked. And
Yeah.
we need to establish something because we're being hunted.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
that's
that was such a good ending scene to six, where the lights were flickering and everything, and Michael was hunting all these people in the dark in all these hallways, and it was just, you heard scream after scream, and he was just tearing everybody up.
I'd love to hear like a recording of John Tate too, post H2O. So what happened in there? She was right. She was right. You know,
Mhm.
basically admitting that his mom was right.
Mhm.
He was doubting her. Like, he's not coming back. Like,
Mhm.
you said you saw him burn. I didn't see his ashes.
Mhm.
That's a good point. She didn't.
True.
It's like, oh, then he comes back. I I have a question for you. Do you own the H2O 4K?
No, I don't. I don't have a 4K TV, so I don't. I just have the Blu-rays.
I didn't know if like they had added a deleted scene where, because there's that scene where John Tate hears that sound and he looks and he doesn't, it doesn't show you what he's seen. I was wondering if they had added a deleted scene where maybe he saw Michael or something. I'm not
I'm not
sure.
sure. I'll have to look into that and see.
Yeah, that would be cool if they did.
Mhm.
Because I mean, the way Josh Hartnett sells his face, he's sort of like, what the is that?
Yeah. Mhm.
It's like, well, son, you're
Mhm.
about to find out what that is.
Right.
I was at the drive-in theater when like
Mhm.
Michael's like doing this with the knife at him and the girl.
Mhm.
They're screwed. I'm like, yeah, jackass, it's real now.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Mhm.
So screwed.
Yep.
I'm like, there's my cousin. She's like, he he doesn't deserve that. I'm like, the fuck, he doesn't deserve
Right.
it. Listen. Teleport John Tate back to 1978. Let's see how things turn out for him.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, exactly. I agree 100%.
Like, if Dr. Loomis were in that movie, it ain't show.
Mhm.
He'd tell John Tate, like, he'd hand him a gun, like, you'll need this.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do
Exactly.
you think that's a big thing, too. Do you think they should have recasted the late, great Donald Pleasance, his character?
No.
No.
Especially not that soon, because I think it was just 3 years
Yeah,
after 6. I don't, I know they had someone else's voice that sounded very similar, but,
yeah.
um, in the opening part, but no, I think they did the right thing.
You know who the African American detective, you know who that is?
I'm trying to think. I'm not sure.
He is he is the voice actor for Jet in Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, okay.
So really
I
really
hear
good,
it now.
yeah, really good
Mhm.
actor. Um, I'm surprised they didn't give him a bigger role, but I like that he's playing a detective in H. I like that he played a detective in H. I should say, but
Mhm.
with the Nightmare on Elm Street, if Robert Englund agrees to come back, how big
Mhm.
of a deal not only will it be, but if they get Robert, would you want Heather to come back to?
I'm kind of split because I love Robert, like, in anything I've seen him in. I think
Yeah,
he's such a cool guy. I would love to see him back as Freddy, but at the same time, I think I think it's time to hand it down
yeah,
and to revise it and, um, or to revive it with someone else with a more fresh face. I mean, maybe for a second, but then, like, maybe in the dream he changes his look and, it becomes the new actor. That's sort of a way of, because in dreams anything can happen. And Robert Englund did that. He shape shifted. We saw that a lot in the first, where he had the long balloon like arms, and Tina grabbed his face and pulled it, and it was a skull. And I think that he would appear and change his shape, and we would get the new actor, and that would be a way of passing it on. But I would kind of like to see it go to a new face.
I do too. I think that's the thing too. So much time has passed
Yeah.
since that Roberts did it. Two, he's been, and this is the thing too. And I love Robert. I'm with you. I love Robert England too. But Robert, over the years, was very back and forth about, well, if they remake it, no, I won't do it. Oh, I'll do this. And it's like, I don't think it's been his indecision that has hurt it. I think what's really hurt it is he wants them to continually do a sequel. And it's just like, okay, they really can't. Like New Nightmare was a great movie.
Yes, it was.
But you gotta understand where Wes Craven was at that time. Like, he was just like, oh, what if Freddy's real? It's like, after you do Freddy's real, there's nowhere else left to really go with Roberts.
No.
Freddy, unless you follow that in a weird way, which I guess they could have, but they didn't. They rebooted it with Jack Earl, and the writers just dicked him around, but he didn't let that hurt his acting, which is great.
Right.
Find whoever you get, because that's the one thing I'll say. If it would have been Robert in that reboot or remake, the writers aren't doing what they did.
No.
So if you get a new Freddy Krueger, if you hire a new actor, a younger actor, or whatever, write a good script, for God's sake.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Dreams are supposed to be the most imaginary way to die. And that's all you really need to focus on for your movie.
Is that really all you need?
Yes, that's all you really need, Julie Lynn.
Don't yell at me. Why? See what I have to deal with?
Aww.
He's so mean. He always yells at me. He should take pity on me right now because I'm the shortest one in the family now.
Well, you always.
I understand that.
Yeah, Mark's short.
I am too.
Us short people have to stick together against these tall freaking giants. I'll get him one for you too, Mark. Even though I'm shorter than him, I'll still knock him down a couple of pegs, even if I have to step on the steps to do it.
Yeah. Body of Pennsylvania man found. No one can identify him. That'll be me.
Weird. I'll even know who you are.
You will?
Jeez, yeah. The correct spelling of your name and how to say it, because that shit irritates me too.
Yes, I know. Not too many people can say my name right, my first name right, but okay, it's okay. She'll still leave a note. Oh my god. Oh shit. What do you think of? What did you think of? The end. Well, sorry. What did you think of? What do you think they'll do for Halloween? What is your prediction? I gave mine.
I really liked yours a lot. I really do hope that they bring back Daniel Harris.
Yeah.
What I would love is if they, first of all, I want a good story, and I would love it if they were able to have some kind of reunion with John Tate
Yeah.
Jamie Lloyd
Yeah.
with Danny.
Yeah.
I would love to have something with the three of them, and bring back Freddie Harris. Even if for a little bit, I would love to have the three of them working together for something. I don't know what exactly. I'm sure you and Darnell, shout out to him, know more about what Halloween 9 was supposed to be about. But I would love to see something like a reunion between, the character of Danny from Halloween 6, um, bring back Danielle Harris and uh, Josh Hartnett for a movie together.
Take joy in this, okay?
Hmm.
I'm gonna take him out for you.
This will be recorded, I swear. I swear.
Aw.
I mean, I was just gonna love you. Come on, my hand over the camera, and you come back on, and you're not there.
Yeah.
And hear what happened.
2018 and Kills are better than the Halloween 9 script that got written.
Where did I?
Mm.
The Retribution script that got wrote by the two writers from England.
Mhm.
The ending is more like a Friday the 13th movie. It's done in the woods. And the way I'll spoil the ending first before I get to the whole problem I have with this. The ending's a problem too. Michael falls in the ice. Yes, I kid you not. He goes into the ice, but his mask doesn't, and John Tate is left holding the mask. Now, what does that imply to you, my friend?
Mm. I don't like that. Huh.
Well, here's the other. Now you know what the Rodney King beating was, don't you?
Oh yeah, can't we all just get along?
Right. So Michael Myers is dressed like a cop. I'm not kidding. And he beats Freddie Harris with a nightstick to death, which makes no sense. It's like, why is Michael dressed like a cop? Like the story, yeah, it's like I said, bro, that's racist. That's like, what are they doing?
Yeah, that's not good.
Like, what are they doing? Like, what is this? Like,
Mhm.
bro, like Michael didn't wear like a disguise. Like,
No.
and then Freddie's line is, "I killed you." I'm thinking, bro, if Freddie Harris said that line, that's the stupidest line I've heard written.
It is, because that's not what happened at the end of Resurrection.
It's like, bro, come on. But well, this was they were again. There were so many. The script was that bad.
Mhm.
That's all I'll say. Because after saying that, it's just like I didn't understand what they were doing with it.
Mhm.
And I don't think you could see why 9 got turned down
Mhm.
more than you can. I jokingly said this. I said, the only person who could write a script that bad, the only difference is his script got approved, is the guy who wrote the 2012 Dark Chassis.
Seth Graham-Smith.
It's like, but even Seth Graham-Smith knew better than to make a racist thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
what? When I read that, bro, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, Michael dressed as a cop. Like,
Mhm.
why?
Yeah.
And then when it happens, I'm like, oh my God, they did.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I know what people are going to say. Well, maybe they didn't know about the history. I'm thinking Google exists for a reason. Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
like look the shit up.
Hmm.
Um, but I think that again, it's not a good script. You can more see why it got turned down.
Hmm.
Like I said, 2018 in Kills is better than that Retribution script.
Hmm.
Um, I, I don't think I'm talking out of school here. I won't say the plot of it, but the script Darnell and I wrote is really really good. Um, better than that, but that's the thing. Like if they would have approved that, that would have killed the franchise. If
Hmm.
they would have approved that Retribution, if they would have approved that shit, Michael
Hmm.
falling through the ice and shit, it had been over.
Yeah,
It had to
I
put the
agree.
it had to put the nail in the coffin of that franchise. Um, and that's saying something. Like the 2000, for as bad as the 2012 movie Dark Shadows movie can be, it didn't kill the franchise.
No,
It drew
absolutely
interest.
not.
It drew
Hmm.
interest in it, and it had good things about it.
Hmm.
The Retribution script did not have one good goddamn thing about it. Like,
Mm.
and if people are going to say, well, the stalking, no, even, okay, stalking is a given in a Halloween movie.
Yeah, that's what makes it so scary.
Right. But when you include that Michael's dressing like a cop and stalking people, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like why is he dressed like a cop? Why don't you just shoot it over the shoulder, hear this, or just shoot it and you hear breathing through the camera, thinking, oh my god, Michael's around there someplace.
Hmm.
It's not, stalking scenes are the easiest. Speaking as a writer, speaking as somebody who's wrote Halloween stories and
Hmm.
currently writing one, uh,
It's great, by the way.
thank you. Stalking scenes are the easiest thing to write.
Hmm.
It's coming up with the names for Michael to kill. It can be a pain in the ass
Hmm.
because you got to think of new names all the time. But other
Hmm.
than that, it's like the stalking's the most easiest thing.
Hmm.
It's like it's not hard, but when you dress Michael like a cop and then you repeat a historical event, it's just like, yeah, yeah. Well, let me say this: when I read that part, I didn't want to continue reading that script,
Hmm.
and then I did, unfortunately.
Hmm.
Take solace in that. The 2018 Kills is better than that script that's out there.
Is
That's
there a way to read the script that the story that you and Darnell wrote together?
uh no, because
Oh,
no, because that's the thing. Like it's not. I sent it to him, so and
oh, gotcha.
he's not releasing like story that we wrote,
Understandable.
which
I
is
understand that.
it's his story. Like he came up with the outline.
Hmm.
Um, Mine is being released every now and again. I got to get chapter 2 written. I'm writing other stories as well,
Hmm.
so I'm working on my outer space story too,
Hmm.
which is fun. Uh,
Nice.
these two aliens have this big wolf werewolf for a pet. There's these outer space werewolf like creatures, and they
Hmm.
have this one alien Thurman. He has one for a pet, and he treats it like a little child. And it's not.
Hmm.
He calls it Tiny, and Tiny is not tiny. Why don't you bathe that thing? No, that thing stinks. What's that smell? Oh, it's tiny.
Yeah.
There's gonna be these hijackers who try to steal their ship, and the one guy he goes on there, he goes, "Oh, there's food on the ground." He doesn't realize it's been left there for Tiny, and then
Hmm.
Tiny grabs his arm, and he sees this big wolf like, "Oh." They hear screaming. There's bloodshed on the wall. It's like, oh god. Take the ship. Take the ship.
Yep. Take it. You can have it.
That's
You're
funny
cool,
to me.
dude.
That Thurman goes, hey, take it.
Yep.
Take it. And Ulrich's just like, his partner's just like, there's something wrong. You were dropped on your head, weren't you? As a child. At least I remember my childhood.
Yeah.
So, but that's the thing. Like, Ulrich was a former marshal, and Ulrich trained Thurman when he was joining the marshals. But they didn't accept Thurman because he only had one arm. But he can do things with it. He can like extend his fingers, and each one of his fingers can lift 1,000 pounds. Like wrap around you and lift you. And Ulrich is a alien who, when he touches something, his skin can change completely into that color, and he can camouflage himself when he touches that object. So it's a character I'd come up with years ago and that I wrote about, and I wanted to reuse that character, but I was thinking, well, do I really want to use him with Thurman Moonlight? Yeah, sure. Why the hell not? But that's the thing too. Writing is fun. You know this.
Yes, it is.
Writing is a lot of fun. What are you writing next, mister?
I don't know. I need to brainstorm. I just wrote an article about Halloween, but as far as a story, I need to. I'm really wanting to write a sequel to Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
I've really got a story that's been in my head for about a year and a half that I'm wanting to put down and get get on paper and get out there finally.
Yeah. That would be a good story. Is there anything you want to add about Freddy Krueger or Michael Myers?
No, I'm just excited about Halloween 45, and I'm excited for the news.
Before we go, there was some sad news. Terry Funk, pro wrestler, passed away at the ripe old age of 79, I believe. But he was a very legendary wrestler. Before we go, we're going to hold a moment of silence for him. So please join us in remembering the late Terry Funk. Mark, my friend, before we go, thank you as always.
Thank you.
When's the next time you can come back, good sir?
Should be good anytime next week, I think.
Okay, so let's shoot for next Monday at 10:30. Okay. Send the children back to school.
Yes.
It goes back.
Not turning off.
I know, right?
They need to learn to get back on their sleep schedule because I can't deal with this.
Julie's gonna murder somebody, and most likely it could be me. Anyway,
It's a big possibility this week. I got a lot.
She's got a summer full of rage.
That's
Not just from home either, though. It's
Yeah.
work.
yeah. Well,
Oh yeah,
At work and fellow employees, whatever.
I understand both of those.
Just everything.
just make a list of names and be like, think of
Mm.
all the things you'd like to do to them and write it out on paper, like I do. Because here's the thing: you can't get charged with murder when you write it fictionally.
Oh, that would take too long. It's easier just to make a list of people I like.
There you go.
Everybody else is done for.
There you go. Mark, my friend, you have a good night, and And
You
to your
too.
cat, bye, kitty. Bye,
Thank
kitty.
you.
Bye, Ralph.
Oh, he's sleeping.
Sophie's gonna be jealous.
Ralph, yeah, I didn't record Ralph, but Ralph is sleeping now.
Yeah.
You told him what Sophie wants to be for
Let me
Halloween.
see.
Yeah, I told him what Sophie's gonna be.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, there's Ralph.
Yeah, hard days of doing nothing.
Ralph looks out the window and guards the property.
Yes, he does. For real.
Oh, there was a picture on Facebook. I love Lynn's picture where she was like teaching an online class, and he's just standing by the computer. And I'm just like, man, if that cat hits a button and hangs her up, that would be not good.
Yeah, I call him we called him Professor Ralph because he would jump up there all the time and watch. So yeah, we called him Professor Ralph.
He's keeping the kids in line.
Yes.
That's what's really
All right.
Mark, my friend, you take care. I'll see you Monday.
You too. Take care. Good night.
Bye.